The fairies are the helpers of the Kokiri. Every Kokiri has his own fairy, thanks to the Deku tree who controls the fairies. But I think there's something up with the fairies and the Deku tree. Fairies are very common in the Zelda universe and also help the hero of time in Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time and many other Zelda games. Fairies are magical beings that can be found throughout the world and are very useful. Link can catch the fairies and can use them to heal himself or revive himself when he falls in battle. So this also confirms that the fairies have magical properties. Sure, catching the fairy in a small bottle is cruel, but whatever, right? Help me! Shut up! Fairies are sometimes depicted as young women with wings and sometimes a wand. Another common depiction is a small orb of light with transparent insect-like wings. They appear in a large variety of sizes, from human size like the great fairies to those small enough to fit in the palm of Link's hand. Many fairies are able to produce their own light or even change their color. Great fairies are also able to shatter themselves into smaller fairies, called stray fairies. This happens in The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. But this was because of Skull Kid. The fairies have a very weird culture. It seems that the fairies are a species that don't have any government or leader or anything. The closest thing resembling leaders are great fairies and the fairy queen, who seems to be superior to the other fairies and more spectacular in appearance. Great fairies also have other abilities in addition to healing powers of lesser fairies. They can grant Link new upgraded items and provide him with magical powers, for example in Majora's Mask. But the Great Fairy looks very weird for a game like Zelda. She kind of gives me the creeps and she looks very sexualized. It still haunts my memory. But the fairies we are going to tackle today are the fairies from The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. The game starts loading, you create a save file, and the first thing you see is a fairy. The place where we first see fairies is in Kokiri village, where the Kokiri, also known as the children of the forest, live. The Kokiri are a reoccurring race in the Legend of Zelda series. They are a cautious, childlike and secretive race native to Kokiri forest. The Kokiri believe that they will die if they leave Kokiri forest, and therefore they will usually never leave the safe haven and know nothing about the outside world. It is first revealed in Ocarina of Time that certain fairies are the companions and protectors of the Kokiri, each Kokiri having his or her own fairy. Link, who is ridiculed for being the boy without a fairy, is finally assigned Navi. F*** Navi. Really, not joking. She is freaking annoying. It's just insane. But Navi was assigned to Link by the Great Deku Tree. The Deku Tree is the protector of the forest and is some sort of a village elder to the Kokiri and a guardian. He eventually needs Link's help because he is cursed by Ganondorf. Ganondorf wanted the Kokiri Emerald, which the Deku Tree owns. But the Deku Tree refused to give the emerald to Ganondorf, so he got cursed. Oh, spoilers by the way. The Great Deku Tree dies. What? Shh, everybody knows this. Everybody who ever touched the game knows this. So the Deku Tree dies, and thanks to Ganondorf, who cursed him because he did not give the Kokiri's emerald, and the forest turns to chaos. The fairies will just continue to do their work, and thanks to Link a new Deku Tree is born which will take its place. And as soon as there is a new Deku Tree, the Kokiri start venturing outside the forest. Which they never did. Like I said, they knew nothing about the outside world. Literally nothing. The Great Deku Tree brainwashed the Kokiri into doing as he says and not leaving Kokiri Forest, thanks to manipulation and lies, and he uses the fairies to achieve this. What? I know, it's quite a serious claim, but believe me, I have my reasons. Let me explain. Fairies in medieval folklore are depicted as evil beings that float between heaven and hell. They are too good for hell, but not good enough for heaven, so they are kinda stuck in between. The fairies were blamed for a lot of stuff, like theft and leading a traveler astray. These things are generally harmless, but far more dangerous behaviors were also attributed to the fairies. Any form of sudden death might stem from a fairy kidnapping, with the apparent corpse being a wooden stand-in with the appearance of the kidnapped person. So they freaking steal and kidnap people. The fairies probably manipulated the Kokiri into not leaving the forest with lies and manipulation. Or for example the fairies from Majora's Mask, Tattle and Tail. Working together with the villain and eventually working with Link, they're still kind of the blame of the entire problem. So the fairies, their origin is very manipulative and evil. They kidnap people, right? Well, I think I know where the Kokiri came from. They were kidnapped by fairies or found in the forest and taken to Kokiri village. they can't leave. One of the Kokiri always guards the exit, and they are also too afraid to leave. So they can't leave without the permission of the Great Deku Tree, and even then they are afraid. The official Nintendo strategy guide even says that they were originally Hylian children that wandered into the Kokiri forest and transformed by the mystical powers of the region. Probably the Deku Tree and his Kokiri Emerald. So the Great Deku Tree is behind all of this, controlling the fairies like puppets, probably with the power of the Kokiri Emerald. The new Great Deku Tree can't hold the Kokiri in the forest. Some of them start leaving. You can see this in the ending of the game, and this is probably because he doesn't have the Kokiri Emerald to control everything. He also tells Link his origin. Link was in fact born a Hylian. During a time of war, Link was brought to the Kokiri forest by his gravely injured mother and left in the care of the Great Deku Tree, when his mother passed away shortly thereafter. The Great Deku Tree, sensing Link had a remarkable destiny in store, raised him as one of the Kokiri, waiting for the day the wheels of destiny would turn and Link would embark on his faithful journey. But now with the new Great Deku Tree, they can at least choose if they want to stay or if they want to leave Kokiri Village, which is a way better solution. The Kokiri have also been alive and the same age for decades. But this probably ends with the Kokiri Emerald being out of the picture, because they will lose their power source. But I'm not completely sure about that. But don't start hating fairies, not all of them are evil. And the new Great Deku Tree? He looks way happier than the previous one. I hope you enjoyed this theory. Leave a like, it really helps me out. Or share the video, or check out my other videos. It really helps me out. Thanks for watching.